Trigger warnings. Please be aware there are scenes of explicit violence, abduction, drug abuse and withdrawal, and implicit rape, domestic violence and child abuse, and an on-page killing. Chase. With a grunt, I twisted the wrench until I felt the nut finally stop, then gave it an extra tweak for good measure. Sighing, I pushed back to inspect everything before wheeling myself out from under the truck. Tossing the wrench into the nearby toolbox, I grabbed the rag to wipe my hands. There was no getting rid of the stains after they settled in, but I was used to it. Grease stains were a fact of my life, and had been from the time I first peered into a truck's engine at 8 years old. "How's it looking?" a familiar, rumbling voice asked. I turned to see Avery leaning against one of the vehicle lifts, a ball of chewing tobacco shoved into his cheeks, giving him the illusion of a 60-year-old chipmunk. Gesturing toward the truck, I rolled my eyes. A fucking mess is what it is. You should have seen his oil filter. That bad. Older and more filled up with gunk than your miserable ass. Avery snorted, spitting a wad of chewing tobacco into a Coke bottle. With a mouth like that, ain't it a wonder you can even find work in this town? Probably because I'm the best damn mechanic this town has, I said, tossing the rag back into my toolbox. And if you were going to fire me because I'm calling you old, you should have done it years ago. Avery shook his head. No pride in this one, no sir. It's not pride if it's true, I said with a roll of my eyes. Some people would say a little bit of humility goes a long way. Yeah, well, I don't know if you've noticed, but most people are fucking idiots. Avery hooked his fingers into the straps of his suspenders, eyeing me. Someone's in a mighty fine mood today, I see. Wait, another voice piped up, and I rolled my eyes as Miles popped his head in from the back office, a piece of jerky hanging from his lips. Are you telling me there are days when Chase is in an actual good mood? Been known to happen from time to time, Avery said, swirling the ball of tobacco around in his mouth. At least that's what I've been told. Never seen it myself, if I'm being honest. I don't know what's sadder. The state of this poor bastard, I said, slapping the truck door to emphasize my point, or the fact that you two seem to think you're funny. Miles glanced at Avery, blinking. Were you joking? Don't think I was. You? No, sir. Pretty sure I was just speaking the truth. Idiots, I muttered, turning around to grab one of the 2 tablets Avery had bought a couple of years before. I hated the damn things and didn't care if that made me more of a grumpy old man than the actual old man. Despite multiple attempts on my part, I had yet to convince him to bring someone else on who could do all the digital paperwork. We'd stuck with hard copies until Miles got his grubby little fingers into Avery's head, and suddenly we had computers for everything. Guess this means I should probably be the one to talk to Mr. Rivers, Miles said with a chuckle. Why? I've got a mouth, I grumbled, frowning at the device as it spat an error code back at me. I knew better than to complain, though. It would just make the 2 of them give me shit because nothing technological worked in my hands. Yeah, but if you're feeling extra cranky, Miles said, looking meaningfully at Avery, I can handle talking to people, especially if it gets me away from the 2 comedians I work with, I muttered, tossing the tablet on the table. I'd deal with the paperwork after I'd dealt with Mr. Rivers. Well, just remember don't you have something to do besides piss me off?